likely than not, you will see Indian forces out there among the first to go. So, to me, Global South is actually a movement whose spirit, whose sentiment, whose commitment needs to be harnessed for the betterment of true South-South cooperation through bilateral relationships. But we can find ways by which we share experiences, where we reinforce each other, where in many ways we actually complement our capabilities. It is in pursuit of those objectives that I am here. I will be going on tomorrow to Abuja to discuss with my counterpart how to take these practical things forward through a joint commission. But I'm really very appreciative today that you have given me an opportunity to share these sentiments with all of you. Thank you very much.
Can ask for contributions. Will be here till tomorrow morning. I'm sure you know that. Nevertheless, I'll ask for one or two, and then let me be a dictator here. I will not recognize any contribution from any member of the Indian delegation. I won't. So at this time, I will limit it to Nigeria, because you have the foreign minister. You will always have. We won't. So permit me to ask Nigerians, one or two Nigerians, yes, Professor Toby.
Well, thank you so very much, Your Excellencies. It's really a great pleasure to be here. I want to ask two questions. That's a very long-standing friend of yours. Development, a friend of mine writes, is attitude. And India has shown an evolving attitude. 1991, India had less than 3 weeks trading money in its foreign reserves. Today, India is overshooting the so-called miracle economies of Southeast Asia. We watched globalization evolve. We saw American scholars like Stephen beginning to talk about globalization and its discontents. At that time, Indian academics like Jagdish Prabhupada argued in defense of globalization. India has systematically built all that attitude into a super time. I remember a friend of mine in a story at India back in '94, wrote a case study, India, Hindu elephant or Asian tiger. And India has clearly emerged as a super tiger. My question on that trend is, in this relationship with a country like Nigeria, above and beyond how can the relationship create an understanding of attitude that made India travel the path that it has traveled to help a partner like Nigeria travel that path? And my second question, and okay, or maybe I should just wrap it. 30 years ago, the Indian High Commissioner in Nigeria, Lalit Mansingh, was the Dean of Diplomatic Service. He said something very kind to me after I spoke about India and where it was going. Actually, he was his guest in New Delhi in 1997. Now, during this period, there have been many opportunities to go past, because what tends to happen, North-South dialogue was very hot. And suddenly Reagan got elected and it disappeared. How can relationships between just diplomatic niceties, in terms of between business people and peoples, sustain this kind of momentum in spite of what global politics give and take? Because this, I think, is so important in this business. I'm in Bangalore almost every year for business as a tourist, but I see how India has changed, and I wonder how our friendship can make Nigeria change in that direction. In spite of what global politics give and take, because this, I think, is so important in this business. I'm in Bangalore almost every year.
Of colonialism. Now, we're talking about the global side. What are the thoughts of the Indian government in counteracting this new emergence of this new colonialism in various guards, and how do you bring that into the conversation of the global south? How to prevent these pitfalls? Because a whole lot of members of the global south are still falling prey to this new emergence that's emerging. Please, and thank you very much.
The basic necessity of life, we are still far away from. How do you delay? Yes, we've read Samuel Amin about the theory of delay, all this theory, but they are useful. But in practical terms, it does not quantify or translate in the reality of how do India navigate the. We are also colonial, just like Nigeria. That is, if people say it is about the number of ethnic groups in Nigeria, it has been outlined that about 413 ethnic groups, according to Professor Oligo Tite's book on ethnic pluralism in Nigeria. Indians too are multicultural ethnic groups. But how do we come out from this circle of underdevelopment?
I don't think India has the ability to help it push itself forward. But I think I have to ask my friend Patu to come and give a lecture on Nigeria to do that. Yes, that's what it is.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a privilege to be here, sir. Thank you so much. I listened to your presentation with very close attention, sir. During the presentation, with this catchy statement you made that struck my mind. I quote, sir, in the changing global order, the rise of Africa is very crucial, end of quote. And on this premise, I would like to ask this question. Trade in small arms and light weapons have increased criminal activities in our region, threatening lives and properties. Criminal activities have crumbled our economy in many ways. Sir, how can the Global South tackle these needs? Thank you.
I think what has happened in India's case is it's not also that our path was always linear, predictable. It had our ups and downs. But what has certainly changed, I would say, in particular in the last 10 years. And I say this as someone who's been now close to almost nearing my 50 years in government, that in the last 10 years, in a sense, there's a certain leadership, there's a vision, there's a deployment of technology, there's an understanding of technology. There is a there is a kind of a energy in the society which has been awoken and given chance to express itself. People were always smart, but if you give people, say smart people, a sense of a startup culture, the same smart mind which would have otherwise not perhaps reduced startup businesses and 100 unicorns that we have today would have triggered itself away. So it's very hard to say what are the exact combination of factors which accelerate national growth and progress, or which slow it down, or which plateau it. It's a variety of these. But in fact, even the idea of what itself is progress has changed. That if one looks simply at growth rates, we had great growth rates in previous decades, but the growth rates did not translate into benefits for many sections of the society. So there were parts of the country which were racing ahead, and there were parts of the country for whom not that much had changed. So, building an inclusive society doesn't have to be a bleeding heart exercise. It has to be common sense. Because if you look in terms of predictable demand in a society, consumption in a society, so it is both the smart thing and the noble thing, the right thing. So I would say, there are aspects of our growth and development and experiences which will have relevance. We approach the world, especially countries of global south, with that viewpoint. But at the end of the day, they have to absorb and devise their own answer. Now, the second question, if there is momentum, how do you insulate it from politics, from global politics? It's a tough moment. I just look at the last 2 years, or I'd say last 5 years. Before us, Indonesia was the chair of the G20. Despite Indonesia's best efforts, their G20 presidency was completely and utterly dominated by the Ukraine issue. And a whole lot of other development issues, SDG, climate, reform of international financial institutions, gender issues, food issues, they got sidelined. So these can happen, and I think it's again part of why we need a strong global south solidarity, is to make sure today that the world is discussing what is the real agenda for the majority of its inhabitants. That its agenda is not skewed by the interests or the concerns of a few, however legitimate those interests are. On the issue, Madam, about how do you counteract neocolonial, in a sense, neocolonialism? It is so pervasive. It's visible in so many ways, even in our daily lives. It's in the newspapers we read, it's in the TV we see, it's in the football matches we watch. It is, even if something unfortunate occurs, we would all like to believe that human life is the same everywhere. But the reality is, enormous tragedies pass uncommented, which is not disrespecting, the misfortunes of others. But the bottom line is the world is still far, far away from being a fair, just and equitable planet. And after 250 years of a certain domination, it will take generations. There was a belief initially, once we got independence, now everything will be all right. Now we are struggling for economic strength. Most of us believe if you are economically stronger, everything will be all right. But I tell you, it will not, because there will be cultural issues. There will be norms, there will be standards. So, how do we actually get something which is more mutually respectful? Not just as a diplomatic gesture, but as a societal behavior. This, I think, is a very hard challenge that awaits us, and I think this is one of the things that the Global South should collectively strive for. The paradigms, of development. I go back to the gentleman on the left. It's not a question of any country offering lessons to another, but I would make one point. Again, I'm speaking from our own experience, understanding. One of the big changes which has happened in my country in the last decade are very basic changes. One is connecting houses to fight water. It's a very basic change, but it's a very big change. But a decade ago, a very large part of our population used to go and get the water from the nearest collection point that they have. Now, once you give them piped water, or once you give them electricity, it's not just a comfort of life, they're actually changing system. So, to me, basic things, our Prime Minister likes to say, a lot of it is about technology, a lot of it is about tradition. Now, basic things are as important as the biggest thing. In fact, one can be used to deploy here. And the last point here, the rise of anti-Semitism. I know, there are some particularly daunting challenges that different countries are facing. My point is this: the world will not be multipolar. The world will not be truly diverse. The world will not have a true sense of participation and ownership if 54 countries of the world are left out of the manner in which the world is discussed and run. And when we became independent, there was a widespread belief that India's independence was not complete till Africa got its independence. Today, I would say our growth and prosperity will also not complete until we see that Africa too has got what is rightfully theirs.
You've given us a diplomatic lecture. I wish you will come back when you're a professor. What I'm going to say to us will be more direct, but thank you very much.
Give him special thanks for that, and please rise and give him a standing ovation. Standing. Thank you all for coming. We now take the national anthems, first of India and then of Nigeria. National anthems.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय जय
Well, the theme was resetting the global agenda, the role of India and the global south. This was to take advantage of the visit to Nigeria by His Excellency, the Indian Minister of External Affairs. And so we thought the discussions, the conversations that have been going on about the need to recalibrate the global order, the search for global justice, the search for global equity, all of those issues that have been thrown up by the experiences that we had in the days of COVID, the demands for the democratization of the multilateral institutions, especially the demand for permanent seats for the Global South in the UN Security Council, those kinds of issues that have led to the strengthening of what long ago Professor Bolaji Akinyemi called the concept of medium powers, which today you will find in agencies like BRICS and so on. Those kinds of things needed to be brought fully to bear. So we wanted to see how India could, as a great power in the world, collaborate with other great powers in the world like Nigeria on these kinds of issues. Well, it's a more historically embedded component of that relationship. You may know that India opened diplomatic ties with Nigeria at least 2 years before Nigeria became independent. That's how much India has been in the forefront of solidarity with Nigeria. India has common interests with Nigeria. India is a major contributor to UN peacekeeping operations and has collaborated with Nigeria in this regard. India has helped, to build the military academies in Nigeria. The NDA was actually midwifed by the Indian military, and we have the Naval Academy in Onne. All of these things suggest and show that India is a great partner with Nigeria. But don't forget that we've also had larger global frameworks and networks, beginning with the non-aligned movement and all of the things that have gone on. Most recently, India had the presidency of the G20. Nigeria was there when the BRICS. Nigeria has also, partnered with India in these areas. And most of all, Nigeria has a bilateral, very strong bilateral relationship with India, and there's the Nigeria-India Commission.
The grand finale of the Silverbird Miss Universe Nigeria 2024 pageant unfolded in spectacular fashion on Saturday, August 31st, 2024, at the prestigious Convention Center of Eco Hotels and Suites. This event, a highlight of Nigeria's entertainment calendar, brought together a glittering assembly of distinguished guests, celebrated entertainers, and legends of the showbiz world. Among the notable figures gracing the occasion were Mr. Ben Murray Bruce, OON, chairman of Silverbird Group, whose vision and commitment brought this event to life, and Mr. Guy Murray Bruce, president of the Silverbird Group, who played a key role in orchestrating the evening's proceedings. The event also welcomed Honorable Hanatu Musa Musawa, Minister of Arts and Culture, Prince Bisi Olatilo, Chairman and CEO of Biscon Communications, Senator Florence Itagiwa, a well-respected stateswoman. Other illustrious guests included T. Mac or Mashalai Sili, MFR, a renowned Nigerian flautist and former president of the Performing Musician Association of Nigeria, P-Man, King Ebitimi Banigo, Wale Ojo, a British Nigerian actor of great acclaim amongst many others. The evening's entertainment was nothing short of dazzling, with performances by talented artists Noon Dave and King Madi, who captivated the audience with their musical prowess. The event commenced with the contestants impressing the audience with a vibrant choreographic display, followed by a parade in stunning swimwear and elegant evening gowns.
Miss Taraba.
As the night progressed, awards and recognitions were presented to the deserving participants. Miss Abuja and Miss Anambra were each awarded grand prizes of $500,000 naira. As consolatory awards, Miss Rivers was honored as Miss Additive. Miss Kwara was named Most Charismatic. Miss Oyo took home the top model title. Miss Imo won Best Costume. And Miss Abuja was recognized for Best Talent. The competition intensified as the top 10 finalists for the Silverbird Miss Universe Nigeria 2024 were announced. These included Miss Kwara, Miss Edo, Miss Taraba, Miss Anambra, Miss Ogun, Miss Plateau, Miss Lagos, Miss Rivers, Miss Ekiti, and Miss Ondo.
Miss Kwara.
A round of applause for Miss Anambra. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Lagos.
A round of applause for Miss Ondo. Miss Ekiti.
After further scrutiny, the top 5 delegates were revealed. Miss Taraba, Miss Anambra, Miss Rivers, Miss Edo, and Miss Ondo. These finalists then faced a series of challenging questions on leadership, success, personal experience, lesson learned, and their visions for the future. During the event, Mr. Guy Murray Bruce, the president of Silverbird Group, took a moment to express his heartfelt appreciation to everyone for their esteemed presence, underscoring the significance of the occasion.
I'd like to congratulate everyone for coming here to the 2nd anniversary of Miss Universe Nigeria. But before then, please to give the delegates a round of applause. I must thank the judges for a job well done. They worked tirelessly over the last 3 days. I must thank you all 7 of you. The Honorable Minister of Arts and Culture is right here. Please give a round of applause. Chairman Silverbird, Ben Murray Bruce, the founder of Silverbird, my lovely wife, Anne Murray Bruce. She always gets shy when I mention her name. Let me use this opportunity to thank our sponsors who have made this show possible. Henkel, Mr. Rajat, Lush, Nutrify, Festival Hotel, Conference and Spa, Echo Hotels and Suites, Shal Talks, Skin White, Checkers Custard. I saw the yellow and blue on the table there. Enchanteur, Team 33 Production for the wonderful cameras they have here. Regal Flowers, Everbright Smart Signatures, Dark Blue, Delborough Hotel in Victoria Island, Silverbird Cinemas, Silverbird TV, Silvercore Media, Kiki Lucas, El Freak, Michelle Okachu Foundation, Steve Azaiki Foundation, Pepsi, and Kiel and Wow Detergents. Please give them a round of applause.
The Honorable Hanatu Musa Musawa, Minister of Arts and Culture, also addressed the gathering, extending a warm welcome to all distinguished guests and expressing her delight in being part of this grand event.
It's beautiful and wonderful to be here in front of these effervescing beauties. You make me so proud to be a Nigerian woman. I'm looking forward to celebrating victory with each and every one of you. So welcome everyone to this fantastic event that will celebrate the beauty of Black, the beauty of Nigeria, the beauty of Africa. Thank you.
In a moment of high anticipation, Miss Ondo was named the second runner-up, earning the title of Miss Lurch 2024, while Miss Anambra was declared the first runner-up, taking on the title of Miss Super National. The crowning glory of the evening came as Miss Taraba was crowned the winner of the Silverbird Miss Universe Nigeria 2024, marking a grand conclusion to the event.
And she has a brand new sash from the Miss Universe office.
I feel so amazing. I just want to start off by saying thank you to each and every one of you for the love, for the support. This crown is not just for beauty, but is a call for action, and that is unity. Thank you so much.
Just says this crown is a call for action. My name is Guy Marbrus. Good night and see you next.
The night ended on a jubilant note, with celebrations taking center stage as the elegant and glamorous affair left a lasting impression on all who attended.
The 23rd Legends of Nollywood Economic Summit, titled A Day with the Legends of Nollywood, was held on Thursday, the 9th of March 2023 at the State Treasury Office, Resource Center, Alausa, Ikeja. Discussions centered around the theme, Empowering the Nigerian Film Industry, and sub-theme, Actualizing Your Resources, under various topics. It all started with the national anthem, which was led by Ms. Biodun Oyinlola. Notable personalities at the event were the chief host, Mr. Paulo Basile, and wife, Mrs. Chibuzo Paulo Basile. Honorable Samuel Gube, Lagos State Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget. Prince Bisi Olatilo, the Chairman and CEO, Biscon Communications. Mrs. Bukola Agbaminoja, Executive Secretary, Lagos State Film and Video Censors Board. Ambassador Dr. Queen Blessing Ibi Yinosa. Dr. Victor Okai, President, Directors Guild of Nigeria. In the opening speech, the host, Mr. Paulo Basile, gave an overview of the event as a talk fest for the actualization of resources that abound in the film industry.
The reason why we are here is not far-fetched. I've observed from time and I watch how my people live in penury, how the average artist, the average production home, the average director and producer complains every day. And we sat down, most of us, to x-ray it. And they did say that they've not had and encouraging involvement of government in our field of play. And I went further to do certain research. I also found out that government from time to time, they do lip service to the things they do for us. But be that as it may, it is also true to fact that our members do not know how to do business. We do not know how to actualize our resources. We do not know how to bring in people who have money to invest in us. The only thing we know how to do is to do show. We've forgotten that the word is show business. There's a show and there's a business in it. And therefore, it became pertinent for us to do this forum, this business summit, so that we can bring everybody together, to rub minds together, to see how we can move it from point A to point B. But then, in the process of doing this, we know that there are some industries or some parastatals we must bring in to actually capture what we need to do.
Father of the Day, Apostle Anselm Madubuko, who gave a brief word of exhortation, emphasized on how much God is needed, especially at this time where things are getting tougher. He ended with a brief scripture reading and prayers.
The Bible tells us that we must remember the Lord our God, for He is the one that gives us power to get wealth. Everybody wants to prosper, even the devil. So it's not wrong to have that as an ambition. It's not wrong at all. But what is important is how you go about it. I beg of you, put God first. Jesus wants to bless you, but He doesn't want the blessing to own you. He's a jealous God. And I promise you, when you truly put Him first, you'll be amazed at how doors will open. And I pray for you that unexpected doors will open for you. Amen. That no longer will you sweat to eat. Amen. Don't be happy that you sweat to eat. Let grace feed you. Amen. Let God feed you. Amen. A little work, you have a great harvest. Amen. Little effort will bring plenty results. Amen. That's your next level.
In his keynote speech, the Lagos State Honorable Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Honorable Samuel Egube, among other things, gave an elaborate speech on the theme, with emphasis on the need to maximize the economic potentials of Nollywood as an economic driver.
If you keep on complaining, complain does not have in itself the language of seizing opportunity. The people who seize opportunity are people who are observing opportunity. That is why the Bible says in the book of Hebrews that if the children of Israel were mindful of where they were coming from, they would have had opportunity to return. Which means that your opportunities will always come in the areas of your mindfulness. But if in the fullness of your mind, all you see is your complaint, you will not find opportunity in a complaining mind. You will always find opportunity in the eyes that see opportunity. It's by acknowledging what you have that what you have will become established. If you say you do not have, then even that which you have will become useless in your own hands. So it's always important that you figure out what you have and trade with what you have.
He also spoke on how Lagos is maximizing its resources and human capacity to its advantage.
This government, we had a meeting with some of your leads, and you asked for two things. I was surprised and I was excited about it. You asked for more training because you needed increased skills in your industry, and then you asked for infrastructure. Today we are doing both, and I will talk about that. I know you also need money, which we respond to from time to time, but what challenges us the most is for you to be able to have money on a sustainable basis. Because government is not a bank. You cannot run an entire industry on grants. So we must figure it out. You cannot run an entire industry on low interest loan if the ecosystem doesn't have a low interest loan. So you must figure out how to run the industry successfully despite the situations which we face, which we must conquer as a people.
The Executive Secretary of the Lagos State Film and Video Censors Board, Mrs. Bukola Agbaminoja, also shared her thoughts on the plans for the Nigerian film industry.
This investment is not for marrying new wives, as earlier stated. It's not for buying new cars. It's not for taking up new chieftaincy titles. It's to be put back into the industry. Let's begin to change the narrative with this investment by the state government. Also coming up is the Film City. This is a project of over 100 hectares of land in Nigeria, Ekpe. We call it the Film City, and my Honorable Commissioner already said it's a media city. So expanding it beyond the filmmakers, that's beautiful. So it's for all creatives. So the Film City is coming up and presently undergoing infrastructural upgrade. Also in abundance is the numerous capacity building programs for our youth, which brought about the partnership with different creative academies, witnessing co-sponsorship of over 4,000, witnessing full sponsorship of over 4,260 young graduates in filmmaking and courses like directing, cinematography, lighting, etc. Every genre of the film market was taught and is being taught by these academies.
Mr. Mahmoud Ali Balogun, Chairman, AVRS, gave a speech on royalties.
Right? AVRS was established in 2013 and were licensed by government, the NCC, the Nigerian Corporate Commission, representing the Federal Ministry of Justice, to represent filmmakers in the process of collecting royalties on their works. I can see there is silence because this is money, right? It's nice, right? So, and it involved the entire industry. The representatives of guilds were involved in setting up AVRS. Who does AVRS concern? AVRS concerns the producer. If I produce a film, right, or put up a television program, either drama, documentary, whatever, even magazine programs, right? Then if you are a director, right, of a movie or a drama series, or you are a lead actor, I'm using actor in the Homo sapiens sense, right? A lead actor, or let me break it down, a lead actor, lead actress in any movie, you are entitled to royalty by Nigerian law.
Others who spoke were Chief Emeka Osai, who talked on the issues and prospects of the traditional media.
How do TV practitioners survive these times with the downturn of the economy and the fact that our business has become very advertising shy? And I said to him that somehow some practitioners are getting by, but it could be better. We ought to be seeing the business expand further from what it used to be. But unfortunately, the advertisers whom I would have put on the spot today, if they came, you know, when Paul was telling me about this program, he told me that the advertisers will be here, and I was going to be interrogating them directly to understand why the natural triangle that you have with TV no longer exists as it should be. Because what is the triangle? The source of income for TV production is mostly from advertisers, who are the major funders of TV production. And then of course you have the content producers and the broadcast houses.
Renowned broadcaster and chairman and CEO of Biscon Communications, Prince Bisi Olatilo, commended the host, Mr. Paulo Basile, and Nollywood in general. He expressed delight at the achievements of the industry over the years and encouraged them to strive harder.
Let me start.
Now, let me take you back 40 years ago. Paul's father of blessed memories, Chief Patrick Obazile, used to edit the news that the likes of Sonny Rabo, Mani Onumono, and I were reading them, dating back to 79. And when Paul comes to FRC, and then he was hailing us. He was one of my biggest fans then. But things have changed. I used to hail him now because I like what he's doing. And that also extends to you. I worship you, to be honest with you. I don't know if you can keep it a tad bit what I say each time I have an opportunity to do it. I say you guys have done what the government has not been able to do. And we have billions of naira allocated to that. But you guys, please put your hands together for yourselves. There's nowhere that I go I don't hear good things about you guys. And you've done that despite government. Oh God, that just shows you that the Nigerian spirit is there. And there's no killing it. Do I get a yes from you guys? Yes!
Also, the president of the Directors Guild of Nigeria, Dr. Victor Okai, gave responses to questions raised as to whether film directors are entitled to royalties.
Smart producers, what they do is, once you have gathered there, this is pure entrepreneurship. Get the best. There are some people today the world is celebrating. Some of their names were mentioned here today, or at least their businesses. All they simply did, they did not jack about film. All they simply did was hire the best in every department and got a great director to put everything together. And then what they end up doing is collecting credit. They are the ones they call filmmakers today. Is that not true? I'm going to see what I'm talking about. And so, I want to encourage us. The director is worthy of his wage. Away from what you get, the royalties you get from AVRS, that movie you're doing, I will say to you, partner with the director. Give him some shares, and he will give you his all. You don't have to pay him everything that you think you can get up front. It will, because you might not have much left if you want a great director. But offer him a part of it. Let him continue to earn. It doesn't take anything away from you. But what it guarantees is you will earn so much more for so much more for much longer.
The summit witnessed a grand unveiling of nominees for the Legends of Nollywood Awards. The event ended after the vote of thanks given by the host, Mr. Paul Obazile. Biscon Communications congratulates the organizers of the event on the successful hosting of the 23rd edition of the Legends of Nollywood Economic Summit. The presentation ceremony for the 16th edition of the Silverbird Man of the Year Awards, which was won by the Executive Governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde, was held on Friday, March 3rd, 2023, at the Convention Center, Eko Hotel and Suites, Victoria Island, Lagos. The Silverbird Man of the Year Award was instituted in 2005 to recognize individuals and corporate organizations that have positively made impact in the lives of Nigerians. Governor Seyi Makinde emerged the Silverbird Man of the Year 2022 as he garnered the highest number of votes sent in by members of the public, ahead of 4 other shortlisted personalities. Some of the past winners of the prestigious award are the late Professor Dora Akunyele, Malam Nuhu Ribado, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Dr. Mike Adenuga, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, Nyesom Wike, and Nasir El-Rufai, among many others. Notable personalities at the event were the chief host, Senator Ben Murray Bruce, OON, the President, Silverbird Group, Guy Murray Bruce, King Bitimi Emmanuel Banigo, Chief Shegun Oniru. Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State was represented by his deputy, Mr. Adebayo Lawal. Governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Doye Diri, was represented by Professor Steve Azaiki. Governor Dave Umahi of Ebonyi State was represented by Ebonyi State's Commissioner for Human Capital Development, Uchenna Oji. Retired Air Vice Marshal Anthony Okpere, former Minister of Aviation, Vice Admiral Ganiu Adekeye, former Chief of Naval Staff, and his wife, Hajia Fatima Adekeye. Prince Bisi Olatilo, the Chairman and CEO, Biscon Communications. Architect Gbadebo Rhodes Vivor, Labour Party gubernatorial candidate in Lagos State. Mr. Funsho Doherty, ADC gubernatorial candidate in Lagos State. Mr. Hakeem Dixon, Accord Party gubernatorial candidate in Lagos State, among many others. Awards were presented to individuals in various categories, starting with the posthumous awards, which were presented to the late Chief Bola Ige, late Samuel Igbemudia, the late Ndubisi Godwin Kanu, and former President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua.
I want to take this glorious opportunity to thank the organization of Silverbird for honoring my late father. Great appreciation to the board for selecting him. And while I was watching the mini documentary up there, it just brought back wonderful memories. And the fact that, yes, unfortunately, the dastardly act that was done on the 23rd of December 2001, which is about 21 and a half years back. However, Ige still lives, and he will continue to live. 21 years later, he's been honored. He was mentioned that he was a polyglot. He loved young people. He always took advantage of the fact that he needed to showcase young people. And so, to the young people of Nigeria and the entire world, this is also for you. God bless you. Thank you very much.
This posthumous honor to late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, GCFR, is very much appreciated and very deserving for a perfect gentleman whose democratic credentials are heavily commendable. His commitment to transparency in public administration and management of the economic hub remained a good signpost for all to emulate. The nation lost a gem in his untimely demise at the helm of affairs. I will deliver this award to his widow, former First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Hajia Ture Yar'Adua, and family, together with the messages of appreciation and encomium showered on his memories at this forum today. Thank you very much, and God bless.
The Sports Personality Award was presented to Tobi Amusan, while Trailblazer Awards were presented to Deyemi Okolawon and Osas Igodaro.
Hello everyone, I'm Tobi Amusan. I want to say a big, including my family, coach, and friends. Unfortunately,